guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to review this planer. This is a Dewalt 735 planer. This is one of the top of the line lunchbox style planers you can get. The cost is $600 to $650 depending on if you get the in-feed and out-feed tables and the extra set of blades with it. Sometimes you can get this planer a little bit cheaper around November for about $550 to $600. I paid $650 for mine because it came with the in-feed and out-feed tables and the extra set of blades. It's built really tough and heavy. It weighs about 96 pounds. It's got two real sturdy handles to lift it if you need to move it. It is kind of heavy. I would recommend having two people to move it. You can move it by yourself, but it's easier if you have two people. So this depth gauge lets you see how much wood you're taking off, and it takes out the guesswork. Then we have our finishing and dimensioning switch that goes from 179 cuts per inch for finishing and 96 cuts per inch for dimensioning. I rarely ever use the dimensioning setting, but it's there if you need it. Then on the left we have our depth stop gauge. This goes from 1/8 of an inch to 1 1/4 inch. And what this does is you can set this on how thick you want your board to end up, and it makes it so the wheel will not go past that depth. So if you want a 1 inch thick board, you set this on 1, and then you can't adjust the wheel past 1. It won't go any lower than that. That way you know if every board you send through will be exactly 1 inch. This planer is 13 inches wide, and you can send up to exactly 13 inches through this planer, up to 6 inches tall. Your ruler gauge goes from 0 to 6 inches here on the right. It has these really sturdy screws on all 4 corners that allows it to roll up and down. This keeps you from having to lock the planer in place when you're adjusting it. Some planers you have to lock it in place so that the weight of the planer and the force on the rollers does not push the planer up and down. This planer, you don't have to do that. These screws are enough to where it won't move. When you set the height, it stays there. It comes with this little star bit to take off the top and change your blades out. And the star bit has these magnets on the bottom to where when you're changing your blades, you can put the magnets down on the blade, pull the blade out, and keep from cutting yourself because the blades are very sharp. This planer has a really strong ejection port. You really want to keep a hose on this ejection port because this planer throws chips out so fast that it can actually sting your arm if your arm is anywhere close to it. When I first got it, I ran it out the back of the garage door because I didn't have a hose hooked up to it, and it would just throw the chips out in the yard. You might want to think about getting a right angle to put on this ejection port because this hose gets in the way sometimes. When the wood comes out, it hits the hose if you don't keep it over here, and sometimes it'll still hit it. So that's one of my only complaints about this planer. If you had a right angle on it, it would probably fix that problem. So I need to do that to mine. Now let's take off the top and I'll show you what's on the inside. Okay, as you can see, the blades are covered up with a plastic housing, and to get that housing off, it just has 3 little red wing nuts that you need to loosen, and that's one of them. When you pull the housing off, you can see the blade. Spin you around here so we can get a better look at the blades. And to take the blades off, you use that little tool, the star tool, to unscrew all those screws, and then you use your magnets on the other side of the tool to take the blades out. You want to use that magnet to lift the blades out because the blades are very sharp. You want to look at the blades every once in a while to make sure there's no chips and make sure there's no stuff gunked up on them, and that makes them not cut well.
This is a safety switch for when you take the cover off, you cannot turn the planer on. The cover has a little groove in it that pushes that safety switch down so you can't turn the planer on. As you can see here, I'm flipping the switch and the planer's not coming on. All right, now for the good stuff, let's run a board through the planer and see how this baby planes. And this board is just a piece of pine and it come out smooth, no snap. I've not had a problem at all with snap on this planer.
Alright, well that's a wrap on the Dewalt planer. Let me know what you think about it if you have one. And if you don't, let me know if this review helped you decide. Overall, I think this is a good planer. I've had it for about 6 months now, and it's been great for me. It's done what I needed it to do. If you're interested in this flip cart that the planer's sitting on, I have a video on it. I'll leave a link to that planer video up top. You click on that link and it'll take you to the video. This video shows an accident that almost happened with this planer and what not to do, and explaining where to stand when you're operating the planer. Thanks everyone for watching, and we'll see you next time.